Welcome to the XP Team USA podcast. We're digging the plugs and pinpointing the topics you want to hear.
And now, here's your hosts, Dave Kimble and Grant Hansen.
This show is brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. XP Metal Detectors is a high-end, innovative metal detector company with great machines and great pinpointers. For more information, go to xpmetaldetectors.com. For a dealer near you, try a Google search or go to xpdeus-usa.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of the XP Team USA podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kimble, coming to you from Central Oklahoma, and I am joined today by my co-host, Grant Hansen, coming to you from New Jersey. How you doing, Grant?
I am doing well. It seems like the warmer weather is here to stay, so I'm very, very excited. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. It's been stormy over here, and the allergies are kicked up like crazy.
That must be tough to deal with. I see pollen-covered cars everywhere here, but luckily I'm not affected by it.
Yeah, we're getting into tornado season now, so hopefully it stays away. But we've been getting some good storms here the last couple of days, and my yard has been saturated.
Yeah, you guys are right in Tornado Alley, right? So you got to be really careful.
Oh yeah, I grew up in Moore, and just about every house I grew up in is gone from tornadoes now.
Oh goodness! Wow.
Right now, I'm just on the outskirts of Moore, right in the path. So. Yeah, I've had them to the left of me and had them to the right of me.
Well, hopefully they won't be a factor this year, and hopefully it'll get drier and you can get out and do some digging.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out and get some digging.
Yeah, I'm excited for tonight's show. We're talking to our very own RC Dunn. That'll be a good interview. And we're going to turn the tables on Dave a little bit here. He's going to spend half the show co-hosting and half the show as an interviewee. I'm going to have a chance to interview Dave, and we're all going to learn a little bit more about him.
Man, I thought I was going to get by without doing that.
No, you guys interviewed me before I became co-host, so you're up. It's your turn.
All right. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And we got some awesome stuff going on tonight, too. We've got the winners of our Omega Mills pouch giveaway will be announced at the end of our show. So thanks to Steve Blankenship and Omega Mills for that.
Yeah, great pouches. And we have two of them to give away. So we have two questions, and people answer two answers, and they send us a message with the answers, and we got two winners now. Thanks a lot to Steve Blankenship. They're great pouches. Y'all love them. Y'all might already have one, but y'all now have a backup.
Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it. They are really great pouches. It's what I personally use. They're durable. Everything fits nicely. So whoever wins these pouches, I'm sure they're going to be very happy.
And we had some new YouTube videos come out lately.
Yeah, that's right. Our channel is getting really active. We're getting a couple new videos each week. We got recent ones from Tim Glick, Steve Fenner, and Lenny took out a couple friends from Minnesota, and they got to play around with the ORX. So really good videos. So check them out.
Oh, yeah. And the ORX, it just shined on that hunt, too. It shined.
Oh, I was watching it. The tones were just crystal clear, and they were finding really good stuff. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, and Gary Blackwell has a couple of new XP videos with reactivity on the sonar program, which is a pretty good program.
Yeah, those are two really good videos. Love watching his stuff. As much as you always think you know about a machine, there's always more to learn or even come back to basics. But his sonar program has been getting very popular, and people have been finding some great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll be right back after this.
And when we come back, we will be back with Dave Kimble.
All right.
This segment is brought to you by Omega Mill Pouches, the official digging pouch of XP Team USA. If you're looking for a rugged, hunt-tested, washable pouch, look no further than Omega Mill. Get on eBay and search Omega Mill Pouches. That's OMEGAMILL.
All right, we are back, and I am turning the tables on Dave Kimble. Dave, you know, as our podcast co-host. He's an XP Team USA member out of Oklahoma. Dave, are you ready to be on the other side of the interrogation?
I guess I am.
All right, well, let's start with the basics. You know, people know you from XP Team USA, the co-host of the podcast. What about your home life? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my home life is a little crazy, a little hectic. I'm a busy guy. Let's see, where do I start? I go to school full-time right now for mechanical engineering. I was a sheet metal worker for about 22 years, doing stainless steel fabrication, building kitchen equipment, and fancy stuff people want in their houses. And I just kind of got tired of it and wanted to move up. So I started going to school part-time and got my associates in mechanical/aerospace engineering. And now the shop that I was working for shut their doors. So I went to school full-time. And this is my first semester going full-time at OU, University of Oklahoma, working towards my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And I should be done by fall of 2020, I believe, if I could keep going full-time, which has got me pretty busy, along with being a president of the metal detecting club here and my family life. So
yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, how big of an adjustment was it going back to school full-time after all these years?
When I first started, I was going part-time while I was working, and yeah, it was pretty tough, you know. But I just I look at it as I got all that done, and if I stop at any time, and all that stuff that I'd done is a waste of time, that I just completely wasted my time and money on it, you know. So it just kind of drives me to finish and get done and have something better than where I am.
That's a great way to look at it. Now, you're studying mechanical engineering, right?
Right.
Is that related to the kind of work you used to do in sheet metal, or is it something totally new?
Well, it is in a way. I mean, there's manufacturing involved, and I did a lot of I worked with a lot of the machines and stuff, and a lot of the fatigue analysis and everything else, which would help out. Also, HVAC, because I work around a lot of HVAC ductwork and everything else too. That's what I'm going to be kind of going into emphasis in HVAC and mechanical engineering, and I figured that way it'll at least help me out with getting a job as a mechanical engineering, saying, hey, you know, I got 22 years of HVAC work, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll make you more marketable in this tough work environment. You know, managing school, a home life, and family, how do you find time for hobbies like metal detecting? And I know you also like fishing.
Yeah, it's slowed down, that's for sure.
I bet. Well, yeah, you're going to have to put a little bit of a focus on yourself too, just to keep yourself mentally fresh and motivated, right?
Oh yes. This summer I was gonna take some summer class this summer, but his funds have kind of depleted, so I'm going to go back to work. And I've already had 3 sheet metal shops, actually 4, because I had one call me today, asking me to come to work for them, and because I'm a union worker, so they're all calling me, wanting me to come in. So I'm going to be going back to work this summer, and hopefully while I'm working full time, I'll be doing a lot of more metal detecting and squeeze some fishing in and some of my own time. But I also got a family to spend time with, so we'll be doing a lot of stuff with fishing with the kids and the wife.
That's great. And it's funny, it sounds like you'll have more time when you're working full-time versus going to school full-time.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's funny because whenever I first started going to school, I was like, well, I got Monday off and I got Friday off, half a day Monday and all day Friday, so I could go out and do this and that. But no, I mean, you're going to school for mechanical engineering. At my point, I'm a junior right now. When you're at that point, it's way too demanding. It's worse than a full-time job. It's
Yeah, I'm sure. I honestly, I don't think I could do it right now. So I give you a lot of credit for that. All right, let's switch to metal detecting now. What got you started in this hobby?
Well, I'd say back when I was a kid, I remember my dad taking me to a metal detecting shop here in South Oklahoma City. He bought a White's machine, and it was a big old green box with a big needle on it, you know, and a big old white coil. And I remember seeing that all the time when I was a kid, and it was probably mid-'80s, early 80s, somewhere in there. I remember one time he was out in the backyard metal detecting, and he comes in, he's all excited, and he had this gray rag, and it had all these coins wrapped up in it. he said, "Look what I just found. I found all these coins." And he opens it up, and he had all these like barber hats and walking liberties and standing liberty quarters. And I was like, "Wow!" I was pretty amazed. And then I realized right away that cloth wrapped around all them coins looks familiar. It looks like my favorite MTV shirt. So I said that to my dad, and he looked at my brother and said, "Did you bury these?" And my brother says, "Yeah, those are your coins."
Oh man!
But yeah, my parents probably got divorced like shortly after that, but every time I went to my dad's house, I would see that metal detector laying up over by the door. But because of that, every time I see an old house or old place, I always start thinking about, what's buried there. I wonder if there's something good. And then me and my wife bought 5 acres of land, 2005. Later on, I started thinking more and more about, what was here. So I started looking around at pawn shops, and I found me an old bounty hunter. And this was like in 2008, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I started using that everywhere around here. And I was finding a whole lot of trash with it. That's basically all I found with it. And I kind of lost interest in it. And I kind of went off and did something else. But 2015, I went and bought like a Ace 350, I guess. And I started really getting into it. And I got into it really heavy after that. And got me a XP Deus. And ever since I got that XP Deus, my finds have like tripled.
Yeah. I mean, I started with an Ace 350 too, and nothing bad about that machine. I found some great stuff, but the difference when you upgrade to a high-end machine like the Deus, I mean, you're going to find more. You're going to work the iron areas so much better.
Right. And I had a couple of machines in between. I had the AT Pro and stuff like that. Still, that, like I said, my finds had tripled, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. What's been your favorite find to date?
Well, I hate when people ask that.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, every time I look, I could never really think, because a lot of things I found, I forgot, and I'd be going through some of my old finds, and I'd be like, "Oh, I forgot I found that. That's really cool." That's like, and I bring it out and, set it up. So, I haven't found any barbers yet. I haven't found no gold coins yet, but I've found a couple of Walking Liberty $50. I found some tokens that are pretty cool, some commemorative coins that are pretty cool, and, some relics. I went out not too long ago with some buddies that invited me out to an old French trading post that had a bunch of Indians posted all around it, and we went out and hunted that, and I found a whole bunch of old stuff, even a piece that might have been off of an old rifle, and this stuff would be dated to around the 1700s, because that's when all this was around that area. And so I got all that in the display case, and I'm pretty proud of that. That's probably the oldest stuff I've ever found.
That's great. Finding 1700 stuff in New Jersey, it's, not that uncommon. But when you find something that old in an area that doesn't often bring up stuff of that age, it's even more exciting, I think.
Right. Oklahoma was a statehood in 1907, and people were really moving here in 1880s, I guess, around that area. And the 1830s is when they had the Trail of Tears, and they moved the 5 civilized tribes here to Oklahoma. So there's not a whole lot of really old history here. There's some spots that are old Confederate Civil War areas, but every metal detectorist has already found it, if you're allowed to go on it, anyways. Yeah.
So I know we've talked in the past a couple times about your desire to find a barber, anything. Is that topping your bucket list, or is there anything else that you've got a real burning desire to find?
Well, as at the point, I mean, I need a barber. I need one. But I'd love to find a gold coin and everything. We got a guy in my metal detecting club that found a gold $5 coin, and that's in Oklahoma in a field, and I thought that was really cool, But that's just
I'd say
that's something that's so far out of there that I just never even considered finding,
Yeah. As a perfect segue about your metal detecting club, you're president of the club, right?
Right. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? What's the club's name, and how many members you have and things?
Well, we're Central Oklahoma Metal Detecting Club, located in Central Oklahoma, in Moore, Oklahoma. It's some guys kind of branched off from another club, and they started it up in 2013, I believe. And I joined I think 2015 I joined. I became the president of it. Since I became president of it, I've really been pushing on it and trying to make it grow, and it's been growing a lot, and we've been doing a lot of cool stuff, a lot of group hunts, a lot of we do seated hunts all the time. We have one big seated hunt at the end of the year, and we give away a bunch of metal detectors and a bunch of all kinds of cool stuff. And I believe now we're up to over 40 people. So.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And you guys recently did something that I think is really cool. You helped local law enforcement with a crime scene recovery effort. What was that all about?
Yeah, I was contacted. I built their website, and I run their website, and I run their Facebook page. Because I do that, I got I got all my information out there, so I get contacted a lot by people wanting me to help them find stuff. And I got contacted from a guy in Tulsa who said that his son, which was near me where I live, he was driving his motorcycle out here in the country roads out here, and for some reason he got off his bike, and some gang members, or I guess is what the police are saying, drove by and shot him, and a bunch of times in his legs, and he bled to death and died. The police believe they know who was all involved, and they have some surveillance videos at a store nearby or something or another, and they got a few of the gang members in jail right now off of something else that they did, and they got a couple of guns off of them. But the father of the guy called me and wanted to know if we can go out and see if we can't find the bullets that he was shot with. He said the police said that the investigators had went out and looked with metal detectors, and they couldn't find them. And he told me he don't think they look very good, so he wanted us to come out there. So I invited about a few of us in the club. We all came out there, and we hunted around and tried to find it. And I ended up finding a 9mm bullet within the range of the shooting. And it was the same caliber used in straight direction of where they believe those shots were. And I put a flag in there, and I just left it in a plug, and they called the OSBI, and they came out and took a bunch of pictures and took the bullet. Really made the family pretty happy. They're really hopeful right now. So I'm still waiting to hear if it matched up to any of the guns or what. But that'd be pretty exciting if it did.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to hear if that does match up. And I'm sure the family, what a terrible thing for them to go through. But if anything to help them find any level of justice, I'm sure is beyond appreciation.
Yes, I mean, that's a terrible, terrible thing to go through.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe it's not far from me at all, It's just, it's probably about maybe a 10-minute drive from me. And out here in the country a little bit. And, it's just scary to even think about what could have happened there. Are they just driving by shooting people off the side of the road or what?
Right. Yeah, it seems senseless. Well, yeah, please keep us posted, and hopefully, justice will continue to be served. Be anxious to hear some updates from you on that. Yeah. So you're going to be one of a few XP Team USA members who will be attending the Detecting the Heartland rally next month. I'm sure you must be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty fun. I've never been to one, never been to Iowa. I think it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, and rumor has it we're going to try to do a live podcast from there.
Yep, yeah, I'm going to bring all my podcast equipment, and we're going to run a live. It'll be on a Saturday or a different day than we normally do. But we'll be doing a live one. We'll let everybody know and have everybody ready. I believe we got RC Dunn, Dave Dinatelli, and Sonia Harshman out there with us, and I'm sure they'll be wrangling people up to sit down and talk with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a great outing. It sounds like a lot of fun after speaking with Casey Oberreiter and the different types of hunts that they got going on. The fun one sounds to me the pinpointer hunt in the middle of the night. So I hope you get out there and enjoy some of that.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Yeah. I know you said your club has hosted some organized seated hunts. Have you been to any other organizations' hunts like this, or will this be your first one?
This will be my first one outside of my club. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I hope you and the team and everybody there has an amazing time and find some great stuff. And we'll be anxious to see pictures and videos and all the finds that people get.
It'd be very cool. And plus, we'll be giving away ORX, and we'll have other contests and prizes we'll be giving away. I think we're giving away an M96 and a few other things. So
that's right. There's going to be a lot of giveaways. Even I think what seems to be highly sought after these days are the XP Team USA stickers. I'm sure there'll be some of them floating around.
Oh yeah. We may even have a pile of them at our tent that you can just come and take.
Oh, that's great. All right. So I have one final question, and this is the question you ask everybody, and I'm going to flip it and ask it on you. If there's one place you wish you could detect that's been off limits, where would it be?
I think the White House lawn. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's so much there. Maybe we can get security clearance and get on there together.
That would be. I'd like to see you ask for permission to do that, go to the door,
Right. Why not?
You wouldn't mind if we can metal detect out here, do you?
Right. No, not at all. Well, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking this interview. And I hope our listeners now know even more about Dave Kimble. And we're going to head to a break and then come back and talk to RC Dunn.
All right.
Check us out online at xpdeus-usa.com.
XP Metal Detectors now introduces the new X35 search coils. Designed around a brand new electronic advances, these new high-performance and versatile coils will allow you to choose from a wide range of frequencies, ranging from 3.7 kHz to 27.7 kHz. In total, there are 35 available frequencies based around 5 main frequencies that are quickly accessible. A new boost mode is now an option on frequencies 3.7 kHz to 4.4 kHz and can significantly increase detection depth on highly conductive targets such as large masses and large silver coins. The new X35 search coils will now be available as option as the same price as the previous coils, and also now will be standard with the brand new Deus. So get your X35 today.
We'd like to welcome RC Dunn to the show. RC is an XP Team USA team member from Iowa and plays a critical role on our YouTube feature videos. Welcome to the show, RC.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing great. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And again, welcome to the show. If you can, for our listeners, let's just start off. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your family life, work, etc.?
Yeah, I'm a TV producer here in just outside the metro of Des Moines, Iowa. Been detecting for about 4 years. Married with 2 daughters that keep me pretty busy, and just try to find some time to go out and swing the coil.
Since you're a video producer by profession, we can really see the difference in the quality of XP videos versus other YouTube channels. What is your mindset when you work apart from others?
I guess my main thing is just that I want to set us apart, and I want to use my talents and the things God-given talents to do some things to help the hobby and help the group. My goal is to just make it as entertaining as possible. I want to bring a lot of history to the folks, but I also want to show finds that I don't want it to just be, like, here's a find, here's a find, here's a find. I want it to, make it be something that is must-see TV, to use that quote, and that people want to tune in for to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, to your point, the videos are very interesting, and there's history to it, and you learn what you're watching. So for people like me, and there's many of them who film their own videos for YouTube, and we kind of hack it. What tips do you have for us to make our videos better?
There's no way that you can cut corners. I mean, you have to tell every aspect of the story. For every video I edit, there's probably hours upon hours of footage that never sees the light of day. So the old adage of you're going to shoot a lot more than you use. So, you want to get shots to establish the location, wide shots of where you're at. Let the audience know that, give them an overview, like they just pulled into the driveway or down the country road to see what's going on, and then kind of explain to them what you're what you're doing today, where you're at, what's your goals, what you're trying to find, and then make sure everything's in focus. Nowadays with technology, you can fix videos that are too dark or too bright or not loud enough or too loud. But one thing you can never fix is the sharpness or the things that are in focus. I joke with friends of mine who are photographers by trade, and with all the Adobe editing software now, anybody could be a photographer, so to speak. They're so forgiving with lighting and everything, but if it's not in focus, you'll never get that footage back. So it's just making sure that it's in focus and you get close-ups. And the other thing I really try to do is if you don't know the answer to something, don't just try to make it off the cuff. So like if I find something and I don't know what it is, I'm not going to guess on TV or on camera that it's something, because if I go to shoot a video and it comes to find out that it's not that, I don't want to look like I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's interesting too what you say about the focus. It kind of reminds me of when I'm watching, crime dramas or something on TV, and they've got this digitized, grainy security footage, and then they enhance it, and all of a sudden it's crystal clear. I'm like, that's crazy. That can't be done. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know more than I do for that technology, but it doesn't seem right.
No, and there's other things too. Like, you can make something that's really dark. You can make it, not to get too technical, you can make it lighter, but if you make it lighter, you're still adding graininess and what we call pixelation to the screen. So, and HD is even less forgiving. You guys can go buy a 4K GoPro that shoots 4K, and there's not even TV shows that shoot in 4K, but you can do it in your own house. So that's just little things that you don't know about that just affect everything that you shoot. And it's like I told you guys. It's like, it's great. Everybody wants the latest and greatest. Oh, 4K. Well, nothing is broadcast in 4K, so people are buying these huge storage discs and SD cards to record everything in 4K when 1080p HD is still the industry standard and is perfectly great for YouTube or anything like that. So,
right. Mm-hmm. YouTube don't even have 4K, does it?
No. So it's like, what? Don't worry about chewing through all your SD cards, getting fines when it's just a selling point. It's like, oh, got to have the latest, greatest. Well, even though nobody can view it. So.
Right.
So I understand your daughter is quite an accomplished dancer. What's it like being a dance dad?
Well, I saw a T-shirt today that says "She dances, I finance," and so I thought that was kind of apropos. No, it's just like anything else. My daughter both of my daughters have God-given talents, and I'm going to do whatever I can to let them express that. And this is not a rec thing for her. She wants to do this in college. She wants to do this in high school, and so if it's by my means that I can provide for her to do it, I'm going to. And so yeah, we travel the country, and she's been an accomplished dancer and won some national awards, and we go and we dance at Worlds here in Orlando coming up. So it'd be kind of neat to see kids from Australia and England and Japan and everybody competing. So it would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, good luck with that. I'm interested to hear how she makes out. And speaking of dancing, I heard you have an interesting dance tradition when you see a jockey go into the winner's circle with his horse. I'd love to know what that's all about.
Yeah, well, how do I put this? So when you broadcast a couple thousand hours of live thoroughbred racing a year, that's my day job. I run the TV department at Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino. So, for 4 months, every other night, 5 hours of live TV gets pretty monotonous after a while. Well, part of the thing that we do is like a baseball player, when they have their music that they go up to the plate with and it's consistent to them, we go down to the jockey's room and ask the jockeys what song they want to play when they win the race. So when they walk into the winner's circle, they play whatever song they want. Well, we have one jockey, and he is from I think Puerto Rico, and it is the craziest mariachi. I have no idea what they're singing. I'm not fluent in Spanish, but it is just like the stereotypical mariachi, really upbeat music, and it cracks me up because all these other guys are playing, rock and roll or rap or other stuff that, is in their native tongue. But this is just like, just the stuff that you hear in every lousy Mexican restaurant that you go to eat at for the $6 lunch special. And so whenever he goes in, I don't care where I'm at, there's two of us that I can be sitting at my desk and I hear that jock wins. I'll run upstairs and go to the window and then just let it fly with my best impersonation of what I would do if I heard that in like a dance hall or something. So yeah, so you get a lot of good dirt having my hunting partner also work for me. So he's giving you all kinds of stuff.
Little bit.
Well, considering the level of dance talent that runs in your family, I'm sure you must think you're a pro.
Oh, totally comes from me. I've told her that before. It's all me.
So we won't tell you who told us about your dance, but speaking of Lenny Quelland, you guys have a great friendship. How did you guys become friends and detecting buddies?
Well, that also deals with where I work. Working at a big enough company like Prairie Meadows, we have tons of departments. So if I need something, we call our plumbers, or if I need something, we call our carpenters. And we had a new piece of equipment coming in, and I needed the carpenters to build me a new kind of countertop to put this big piece of equipment on. And we were watching Diggers upstairs in the TV department, and he just offhand mentioned, I metal detected. I was like, oh man, I always thought that was really cool. This is when Diggers first came out, so 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, oh, I always wanted to do that. So, that I left it at that. And he came in the next day and he brought in a gold pocket watch that he had found and a bunch of coins, and I was hooked. I said, you got to help me get a machine. And so he did. I got my first ever machine, which was a White's MX5. And I was at a dance competition in Florida, and it had arrived. So there was nothing worse than having, the FedEx guy deliver something and know that you're like a week away from being able to use it. So his name was Derek. And so we went out a couple times, and Derek, I wasn't even on Facebook at the time. I was kind of like the Facebook guy that's like, I don't need to know what the person I went to high school with is doing now. And, it's like I was like trying to stay away from social media like the plague. But he's like, oh, no, get on social media. There's some other groups. You can see a lot of what people are finding. It's things. So he had messaged Len and said, hey, I see you're close by where we live. We're going to go hunt this place. And I got this new guy named Ryan. It's like RC. Ryan's my real name. I want to come hang with us. I said, so Lenny was swinging Tesoro. And so we're swinging. And the thing that really got me about Len is all the other guys we were swinging with were, focused on what they were doing. And Len was, hey, how long you been hunting? You got a pretty nice standard, basic entry machine there, try this, try that. I mean, like he took the time to really help me. And at the end of the day, gave me his phone number, his email address. I said, hey, if you ever want to go out hunting again or something, let me know. So we went out like 1 or 2 more times, but then unfortunately, Derek, who introduced Len and I, was working as electrician or as a carpenter at Prairie Meadows and suffered a heart attack and passed away. So I'm always grateful for Derek because he brought us together. So then Len told me that we started going out hunting with him, and he was saying I've done all this research, and Len comes from a technical background. Len has done everything from ham radio to installing car stereos to computers to this kind of stuff. And so he had done all the kind of research. And, he talked the same kind of talk that I did being a television guy. It's like, you get an XP, you can always upgrade it. It's never out of, it's not like a computer that's going to go out of style in a couple of years. You're going to have to upgrade, and I got to talking, and so he got one, and then next thing you know, I got one, and so then we just started swinging and just loved the XP brand, and then Dave DiNatale got a hold of us, and the rest is history. So that's kind of how how that came to be.
It's great, and it's fantastic that you've got a friend now that you can share this hobby with. I think that's just as important as getting a permission or, a great find. And recently you've had the opportunity to use the ORX. What do you think of that machine?
Speaking of, just the serendipity of everything, it's, I really enjoy the ORX, and I guess I got to go back to what happened this past weekend. And like I was telling you guys, is we had a couple guys from Minnesota, Jim Kochever, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, and Alan Carpenter got a hold of Lenny and I and said, hey, we still got frost on the ground. I mean, these guys are 7 hours north of where I'm at. So, we're talking close to the Canadian border, and they're like, we're going to come down. We watched your show and stuff on the Cold Town. You want to come down? Can we come down and hunt? And of course, I had a dance competition that weekend. But Len's like, sure, come on down. You guys can swing the ORX. And these guys are familiar with the Deus, and they absolutely love the ORX. And it's not the thing about the ORX is it's not the Deus Lite. It's not. They didn't take the power down. They just basically kind of made the interface not as intimidating, I guess. If we swing an ORX and the Deus and over our coin bed, we get the same readings, we get the same VDI, we're getting the same depth. It's just that you get 3 tones instead of the all tones. You're limited. So some people feel that it's almost kind of like training wheels. It's like, what, they know the power of the Deus, but they don't want to be able to, for whatever reason. They think they get intimidated by changing every possible feature of the Deus, the reactivity, the notching of channels, the discrimination, all that. They just, they want the power of the Deus, but they also like the, just let me turn it on and go. And that's what the ORX is. And, it's just it's everything that you would want in a Deus, but just, not as many functions, so that you don't get kind of caught up. And that's what the guys are saying. It's like sometimes they get a little intimidated with their Deus, and this is great because they know they got a low tone, a medium tone, and a high tone. And they just dig the mediums and highs and let everything else be what it is. So, all right. Kind of put it into perspective. And these guys were just destroying the finds that these guys found for never swinging the ORX. We literally put the ORX in their hands. These guys have had Deuses, but they've never swung an ORX, and they've never used an MI6. But at the end of the day, these guys have found they're pulling silver, tokens, just everything you could think of, swinging an ORX for the very first time, having not even an hour's worth of time on it, and using the MX6 pinpointer. So, that pretty much is, proof's in the pudding right there.
All right. Like what you're saying with some people who prefer the machine that way. I know a few guys who have Deuses, and they don't use half of the settings that it has. Then they use just about every setting they use is pretty much the same thing they have on the ORX. And that would, it's a great machine. We'll be back right after this with RC Dunn. XP has introduced its new ORX machine, a high-end machine at a mid-range price. The ORX has 4 factory preset programs, 2 gold, 2 coins, also 2 user programs. The ORX comes with a high-frequency coil and is compatible with the X35 coils. The ORX is now available in the USA. And we're back with RC Dunn. So what are the better things that you've been pulling out of the ground lately?
I did a lot of old tokens. Growing up in central Iowa and finding tokens from the 1900s for areas that I know still exist, but I've never heard of the companies. They're just, knowing where this old cigar store is, because I know where Locust Avenue is downtown, but, this store has been gone for 100 years, so just that kind of cool stuff. And, the second half of this Cold Town the second half of the feature that we're working on, we've got the name of an Italian immigrant that had a company store there, because we found probably 2 or 3 dozen tokens from his store, and getting a hold of the Central Iowa Italian Alliance and talking to them and helping me research the name. And, so then that opened up something that, hey, can you come talk to our Italian American group and talk about metal detecting, and I'm sure that'll open up some more permissions. And, it's just, just how that stuff just balloons and just dominoes just start falling. And I get to share my hobby and possibly get some leads and some other stuff. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's great. And, I don't pull a lot of tokens out of the ground. So I see what you and Lenny and those guys have been finding, and it's really, really cool. It's a different type of history than I see here on the East Coast.
Yeah, you have to understand that these farm fields have been, in this coal town, it's now farm field. And this farm field has had chemicals put on it for over 50, 60 years. And anhydrous just chews and just eats away copper. We found probably 70 Indian head pennies. We know they're Indian heads because we can make out the outline of it. We can't date them. They're just roached. I mean, these Indian heads look like zinc pennies. So, we live off of tokens that are brass and aluminum and things like that because that's the only thing that is surviving this caustic chemical. It makes you wonder, it makes you think twice about buying some of this food, because it just eats away. But this stuff's been in the ground for hundreds of years. And so, the iron stuff's great. And so, and the silver's all black, but, obviously silver comes back. But, so that's why we get a little bit more excited about finding the tokens and stuff and then like the fobs and stuff because it survives. And you can still see what it is because it's to the point now I told Len, I said, I want to go back to yards or places where that I can pull an Indian head out and see it's an Indian. Now it's almost like, ho-hum, it's an Indian head because I know I can't date it or anything. It's kind of disappointing.
Right. So think back in time. What was the first ever find you got that you considered to be really good?
First day I met Len, I told him that my goal for year one in metal detecting was I wanted to find a coin that was never in my pocket. And what I meant was a coin that I'd never seen before. So like not a Roosevelt dime, not a, George Washington quarter. I wanted something that, had never seen before. And, he's like, you want to go, he's like, over there, there's a brick sidewalk, that's a telltale sign of an old property. And I swung that MXI over and just got a pounding signal and repeatable and pulled out, and it was a 1900 Barber quarter. And I carried that Barber quarter around like it was, the whole way that walked by. I'm showing them, look at this. And of course, it was my first dig. It's one of my first digs ever. So my hand digger scratched the bejesus out of it. It was a really nice coin. Could have been graded, but I took a notch out of it, but it didn't faze me at all. I was like, this is the greatest thing. So, and he pulled something that I've still yet to find. I've been metal detecting for close to 5 years now. I still haven't pulled a standing Liberty quarter out of the ground, and he found one that day too. So it's like, that's on my top of my list to find. So
yeah, same here. So you'll be attending the Detect the Heartland rally next month with XP Team USA. Could people ask you for demos and advice while you're there?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of these people. Detecting the Heartland was kind of real tiny when I started, and I don't know how many people know this, but I'm the one that designed the Detecting the Heartland logo. So that logo is my design. So, talking to Casey and those guys from years and helping them out with logos and screen printing and different kinds of stuff, and just knowing that group, and they had 1,000 or 2,000 members, was it'd be kind of neat to actually meet. Actually, Casey did come down and hunt with Len and I once. So I've met Casey before. Putting a lot of faces with names and stuff will be great. But yeah, and that's the other positive about the dash. A lot of people hate going to these large hunts because they walk up next to somebody and then they get interference and they got to go somewhere else, and just a big free for all. But with the dash, it's easy to just I'm starting to get a little interference, and I'll switch frequencies, and so you've got that a lot of other people don't. So at that point, it's like I'm good. I can stay right where I'm at. So that's going to be really nice to kind of show people all the different stuff that we have. And we adopted somebody. We had a contest. So we quote unquote adopted somebody to, we're going to give him a hat and t-shirt, let him swing, let him take the test drive of the Deus and the ORX, and kind of like what the guys from Minnesota did. I mean, they've had the Deus before, but got to swing the ORX. So it's going to be quite a fun day.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really, really good organized hunt. Are you going to be mostly manning the XP Team tent, or are we going to get to see you on your hands and knees during that pinpointer hunt too?
I don't know about that one, but my local club did pay for all of the guys that are at our local club to do the seated hunt. So I'll probably walk around and do the seated hunt. But no, I'll probably be at the booth with Dave for most of the time, kind of showing. We'll have a TV there showing past episodes. We're also going to record live videos of people out in the field and take that video, put it up on the screen, and I'll probably bring my big foot locker with all my gear, all the different coils and stuff. Just kind of, it's just going to be a learning session, and they can ask questions and then give them some advice. I mean, we're definitely not there to push the product or sell the product or anything. We're just there to answer questions and answer anything we can for people that are curious.
So, we were talking about some of the really cool tokens and other things you found. What's at the top of your bucket list? What do you really want to find?
It's crazy. I do want to find that Standing Liberty quarter. I want to find a 2-cent piece. I want to find a 3-cent piece for that matter. But it's just like, it's anything, it's just, man, you name it. It's just, that's kind of like, asking me which one of my kids I like the best, it's like, I don't necessarily, I have a bucket list, but it's more like, it's what I haven't found yet. I mean, just dumb stuff. Like, I would love to find a 3 Merry Widows condom can. I've never found one of those. Everybody else finds those. I think it's kind of cool thing to find. I mean, just dumb stuff like that. It's almost like, I want to have one of everything that I see on that everybody else finds. Like a lot of people down south, they find Civil War bullets, and it's like, ho hum, I found another Civil War bullet. I would probably freak out if I found a Civil War bullet. Us Northerners, we live for that stuff. And the guys down south, they went out for a quick hunt today and found 47 mini balls, whoopie ding dong. It's like, geez, Louise.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Oklahoma's not very old.
Yeah. We
got one last question. I'm going to ask you if you can detect anywhere that's been off limits to metal detecting, where would you go?
Two things. I don't know if it'd be off limits. I would love to do water detecting. I love watching those videos of the guys that stumble upon an old swimming hole and they're finding wedding bands from the 1800s and finding out, the family members that have that. Going back to our new buddies from Minnesota, that's what they do. They take the days in the water, and they found over 300 rings last year. Wow. 60 some of them were gold from just going from swimming hole to swimming hole. So I think that would be just amazing to do. And I guess growing up in a military family, my dad is a Vietnam veteran. I guess I think it would be amazing. You couldn't do it because of all the active landmine stuff still over there. But if I could guarantee myself the safety of not getting blown up by a leftover landmine, and I could detect some Vietnam area battlefields to possibly find some dog tags to bring closure to some families, I think that would probably be one of the coolest things I could do. But I mean, you'd never do that. I mean, I wouldn't. It takes somebody with a lot more intestinal fortitude than I do to get a signal and put my leshy spade in the ground over there.
Right. Yeah. Some areas are just better left alone, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I keep you read the articles of the guys in Europe that are hunting for Roman hordes or this or that, and they stumble upon an Allied dog tag, and they find the person, and it's their family in like Roanoke, Virginia, or just some small town in some area, and they travel halfway around the world to give stuff back to them. I think that's probably one of the most righteous things you can do as a metal detectorist, and that's definitely clickbait for me. If I every time I see a story like that, I'm on it.
Yeah, I recently did a story on the Express News section where a detectorist in Australia found an American dog tag and was able to work with some people to return it to that person's ancestors in the U.S. So to your point, it's just a wonderful thing people can do.
I mean, think about it. That dog tag was around their loved one's neck, and could possibly be the only thing that ties them together. And I mean, wow, get goosebumps thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So what can we expect from RC Dunn the rest of this year? I know you've got the Detecting America. Are you working on any other good videos?
Yeah, well, I know that Dave DiNatale and Todd Roy went down to John DeVille in Louisiana, so I'm editing that story right now, an old plantation hunt in Louisiana, and then we'll follow that up with the final second half of the Coal Town. And so, and I guess, not to brag or be jaded, but, it's like we've hunted this Coal Town for an entire year. It's like I'm ready to go and just hunt somewhere else. So, everybody that's listening tonight, it's like, oh my God, you're on a gold mine, you're on a honey hole, you're finding tokens every day. And are you nuts? It's like, yeah, but sometimes it's just like, you know what? Kind of want to see what's on. I want to see what else is out there. And so I mean, we always have that. We've always got that in our back pocket. We can always go there, in the fall when the crops are out. But it's like, you know what? I want to go find some other homesteads or some other areas that used to have houses on it and see what we can pull.
So when can everybody expect a release for that, for John DeVille's story?
We're hoping probably the end of April. We usually like to do the big features at the end of each month. And, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel or our podcast, do it. We're always updating content, as you guys know. And, we're going to put stuff there daily or weekly on smaller hunts we do. But like we mentioned earlier, we're really, when we do these features, it's not just, hey, we're here, we're at a dig. We find places, we go talk to historians, we get the real story behind this stuff. We do a lot of research. And like I said, as a TV producer, there's so much more behind the scenes that goes into these shows of researching the historical locations, talking to people who know what they're talking about, and getting answers to stuff so that people get excited and know, hey, I found one of those. I didn't know what that was. Now I do, that kind of stuff. So,
well, that's all we got today. We're running a little long, and it was great talking to you, RC, and we'd love to have you back again sometime.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, and I really appreciate it. And maybe hopefully soon I'll be seeing you, David, at the hunt. Maybe I can get on an airplane and go hunt with Grant and do a feature over there. So it sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I would love to get you onto a colonial site too, and get you finding stuff that's not going to be found at that coal mine.
Right.
Well, thanks again, RC. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I know we'll talk again soon.
No problem, guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
If you have a question for one of our guests or just like to make a comment, call us at our XP Team USA podcast hotline at 405-294-3602. If you are needing the highest quality digging tool for metal detecting, then check out Predator Tools. Their digging tools are made from chromoly 4130 and heat treated and tempered to ensure the highest quality product. Predator tools are made in the USA and are also used in the United States military. All of their tools carry a 5-year warranty and are proven to be the toughest out there. So check out Predator Tools at predatortools.com. All right, well, that was RC Dunn. That was really fun talking to RC.
Yeah, that was a great conversation, and I'm kind of jealous that you guys are going to be hanging out with everybody at the Detecting the Heartland rally, and I'm going to miss it, but maybe I'll have to pencil it in for next year.
Oh, you'll be there on the podcast that we do.
Yeah, but I just won't be there physically.
Well, we have a couple of winners to announce for the Omega Mills Relic Elite pouches brought to you by Steve Blankenship.
Yeah, we've got 2 winners to announce, and I think they're going to be very happy with these pouches.
All right, well, our first question was on the newspaper clip, who died in the mine? On the episode Metal Detecting Discovering the Lost Town with RC Dunn and Lenny Quaylen. So the answer was Joe Hedman. So all you had to do is message me or Grant or even the XP Team news page the answer. And we had a few answers and we just did the drawing, and the winner was Ed Olson. Congratulations, Ed.
Congrats, Ed. You're going to be the new owner of a Relic Elite Pro pouch by Omega Mills.
All right. So the question number 2 on the same episode, Gary Blackwell did a tip about avoiding all the nails in a field. And how do you avoid all them nails? What tip did he give? The answer was keep the coil up 8 to 9 inches high and swinging. So we had a few answer to that one too. And we did the drawing, and the winner is Bill Hayes. Congratulations, Bill.
Congrats, Bill. Thanks for the answer, and I'm excited that you're going to get a new pouch from Omega Mills.
All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and tune in for our next episode, May 3rd.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. I hope you all go out and find some great stuff. And, if you do, please post it to our Facebook page, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. We'll see you.
Get that permission, put the coil to the soil, and we'll see you next time right here on the XP Team USA podcast.